Welcome, everyone. We're going to call this meeting to order at 4 p.m. Adoption of the agenda, but first allow late amendments.
So there was a couple amendments to the agenda. The zoning amendment application was moved up to public meeting, and an amendment was made to add the zoning bylaw at the end of the meeting. So first we have a recommendation that West Elgin Council allow late amendments to the agenda, including a reorder of agenda items, zoning amendment application, and addition of a zoning amendment bylaw.
A mover, please. Councillor Denning, seconded. Councillor Statham, all in favour? That's carried. Adoption of the agenda.
That West Elgin Council hereby adopts the regular council agenda for June 25th, 2026 as amended.
Mover, please. Deputy Mayor Tellier, seconded. Councillor Sousa, all in favour? That's carried. Disclosure of any pecuniary interest and general nature thereof. Seeing none. Public meeting, Committee of Adjustment, minor variance 20638, McDoodle Line.
The recommendation is that West Elgin Council recess and move into Committee of Adjustment.
Mover, please. Deputy Mayor Tellier, seconded. Councillor Sousa, all in favour? And that's carried. So I'm going to call this meeting to order at 4:02 and adoption of the minutes.
That West Elgin Committee of Adjustment hereby adopt the minutes of April 23rd, 2026 Committee of Adjustment as presented.
Mover, please. Councillor Statham, seconded. Councillor Denning, all in favour? That's carried. So we go to 3, which is the purpose of this meeting.
The purpose of this public meeting of the West Elgin Committee of Adjustment is to allow presentation of one application for minor variance and to allow interested members of the public an opportunity to ask questions or offer comments with regards to these applications. Written comments must be submitted to the Secretary Treasurer of the committee. If any member of the public would like to be notified in writing of the Committee of Adjustment's decision on a particular application, they are to provide their name and mailing address to the Secretary Treasurer at clerk@westelgin.net. This will also entitle you to be advised of possible local planning appeals tribunals hearings in the event the decision on an application is appealed. Notice was sent via regular mail on May 26, 2026 to property owners within 60 meters, 200 feet of the subject property and to agencies requiring notice.
Thank you. Disclosure of any pecuniary interest. Seeing none. We go to 5, main variance 20638, McDoodle Line, plans report. Evan, it's over to you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Through you to the committee, planning staff are recommending that the West Elgin Committee of Adjustment approve the requested variance to reduce the required MDS2 setback from 532 meters to 350 meters to facilitate the construction of a new 1,800 head hog barn with the under barn manure storage. The application is for the lands located at 20638 McDougall Line. The property is approximately 71.75 hectares in size, designated agricultural area under the West Elgin official plan and zone general agricultural A1. The lands are currently used for agricultural purposes and are surrounded by agricultural uses. The proposed barn is intended to support and expand the applicant's existing farming operation. The applicant owns the residence located at 20591 McDougall Line, which is the dwelling affected by the MDS2 reduction setback. Based on the proposed livestock facility, the required setback is 532 meters, while the proposed location provides a setbacks of approximately 350 meters from the nearest dwelling. The proposed location was selected due to the proximity to the existing farm operation, access to farm infrastructure, available water source, and access to significant agricultural land base and manure application. Staff note that relocating the barn to meet the full MDS setback would require placement within an actively cultivated field resulting in additional fragmentation of productive agricultural land. The application was circulated in accordance with the Planning Act and no public comments or agency concerns were received. Building Department cannot support the application based on failure to comply with the MDS setback to the nearest dwelling. No concern were raised by drainage, utilities, or development and infrastructure. Staff reviewed the application against the PPS, Elgin County Official Plan, West Elgin Official Plan, and Zoning Bylaw 2015-36. Staff are satisfied that the proposal supports long-term viability of agricultural and maintains the intent of applicable planning policies. The variance meets the 4 tests of the Planning Act. It maintains the intent and purpose of the official plan and zoning bylaw by supporting agricultural development while managing potential land use impacts. It represents appropriate and orderly development and is considered minor in nature due to the site-specific circumstances, the agricultural context, and the absence of anticipated impacts on surrounding properties. Staff are therefore recommending approval of minor variance application T13-2026-02 to reduce the MDS2 setback from 532 meters to 350 meters to permit the proposed hog barn. And with that, I'm open to any questions. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. I'll go to 5.2, applicant's justification report. Dated April 28, 2026, Oakland View Use Planning. Have you anything to say, Robert?
I do not, Mr. Chair. I am here to answer questions. We are happy that we were able to provide justification for this, or in agreement with the recommendation.
Thank you very much. Written comments received.
There was no comments received at the municipal office.
Committee comments. Seeing none. Public comments. Seeing none. Is the recommendation, please?
The recommendation is that West Elgin Committee of Adjustment hereby receives the report from Evan McKinstry, Junior Planner, regarding minor variance application D13-2026-02, recommendation report, planning report 2026-16, and that West Elgin Committee of Adjustment grant the requested minor variance to obtain relief from required MDS2 setback for a new livestock barn from 532 meters to 350 meters.
Mover, please. Councillor Statham, seconded. Councillor Sousa. All in favour? That's carried. Thank you. With that, we go to adjournment.
That West Elgin Committee of Adjustment hereby closes the public meeting held pursuant to the Planning Act at 4:08 p.m. and moves into regular session of council.
Mover, please. Deputy Mayor Tellier, seconded. Councillor Denning, all in favour? That's carried. So we move back into the regular council?
Yeah, and then we're back into another public meeting.
Yeah. Delegation and presentations. Oh, okay. I've turned 2 pages. Okay. Yes.
Through the chairs, apologies. Did we do the disclosure of pecuniary interest or conflict of interest already?
We did.
I did do it.
Apologies. I wanted to make a comment regarding that.
Yeah, go ahead.
Again, I would like to declare a conflict of interest regarding agenda item 8.4.1 and 8.4.2. As I am a member of Roots and Revival Committee, I will remove myself from all discussions and voting relating to this matter. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, public meeting. Okay.
Yes.
Public meeting zoning amendment application 191 Furnival Road.
That West Elgin Council hereby move into a public meeting pursuant to the Planning Act.
Mover, please. Councillor Statham, seconded. Deputy Mayor Tellier, all in favour? That's carried. Okay, we go to 5.1, which is the planner's report. D 1407-2026. 191 Fernville Road. Evan, it's over to you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Through you to the committee, the application proposes to rezone the subject property from open space to Village Core Special Provision 4 to permit public storage in addition to all other uses permitted in the C1 zone. No development is proposed at this time. The rezoning is intended to better align the property's zoning with the official plan and move its future marketability and development potential. The property is approximately 0.89 hectares in size and contains 2 existing buildings that have historically been used for public storage. Staff note that the proposed zoning more accurately reflects both the existing use and the property and the policy direction of this area. While an encroachment exists on this site, it does not impact the proposed rezoning, and this can be addressed through a future boundary adjustment when future development is proposed. The application has been reviewed against the PPS, the Elgin County Official Plan, the Municipality of West Elgin Official Plan, and zoning bylaw. Staff are satisfied that the proposal is consistent with provincial policy, conforms to both official plans, and supports the intent to create complete communities and encourage economic activity within settlement areas. The application was circulated to all relevant agencies and departments, and no concerns or objectives have been received. No public comments have been received at the time of writing this report. With that, I'm open to any questions. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Landowner or public comments? Seeing none. Council comments? Yes, Councillor Denning.
Thank you, Councillor Sousa, and thank you, Mr. Mayor, through the chair. Is this the property with the old Thompson's fertilizer shed? It is. I'm getting a nod. Okay, so the second part of my question is that shed is in serious disrepair. So is there a plan subject to this rezoning to address that?
Through you, Mr. Mayor, as it currently stands, this application is simply just to rezone the property. There's no development proposed at this time. When there is future development at the site, and we'll have to go through site plan application, that'll be addressed at that time.
Thank you.
Okay. Councillor Sousa, please.
Through the chair, I just have a question for Evan. I noticed the property line, and I believe I spoke to you this morning about the property lines just cutting through the building there. And I had a constituent reach out whose concerns a property line doesn't seem very accurate. Could you maybe elaborate why the line is cutting right through the building?
Through you, Mr. Mayor, the mapping that was given in the notice and provided in the planner's report is based on our GIS mapping, which is approximate. It's not 100% accurate. But as the previous question, the lot lines, it's in Rodney, which is an older area. The lot lines they tend to overlap and have some discrepancies some of the time. But like I mentioned, when development occurs in the future, we'll have to go through site plan. So when this process happens in site plan, if the lands are encroaching, which looks like it does in this application, they will need to do a boundary adjustment to address the lot lines on the building that's encroaching.
So in other words, the lines are not 100% accurate.
Yeah, correct.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Further comments? Recommendation, please.
The recommendation is that West Elgin Council hereby receives the report from Evan McKinstry, Junior Planner, regarding zoning bylaw amendment application D14 07-2026, recommendation report, planning report 2026-15, and that West Elgin Council approve zoning bylaw amendment application D14 07-2026 to rezone the subject property from open space OS zone to a village core special provision for C1-4 core zone as presented in bylaw 2026-40, attached as appendix 1 to planning report 2026-15, and that subject to no concerns being raised at the public meeting, that bylaw 2026-40 to amend zoning bylaw 2015-36 as amended be presented at the regular meeting of council on June 25th, 2026 for adoption.
Mover, please. Councillor Sousa. Second is Councillor Statham. All in favour? That's carried. So to go 5.1.4, adjournment of public meeting.
That West Elgin Council adjourn the public meeting and reconvene to regular council.
Move it, please. Deputy Mayor Tellier, seconded. Councillor Denning, all in favour? That's carried. Okay, so we move on to delegations and presentations. And 6.1 is Liz Wright, Canada Cartage Courier Service. Please.
Oops, how's everybody today? I just wanted to come and kind of clear up a couple of things and just so everybody knows why I am here. So this kind of started back January 22nd, where, God, I gotta get the names right. Sorry, Keith gave our company a call, complaining about our trucks idling down the alleyway. It was a disturbance to them. I was dispatched out to the scene. I arrived here January 23rd, I think in the afternoon. I showed up at the same time Ryan showed up at the house. And all four of us went inside of their house and had a little chat about everything that was going on and everything. At that time, I honest to God thought this was over. Talked to Ryan, we talked about different ways of parking around there, making everything easy. Unfortunately, again, I have to come back down. January 30th, I've been here. April 2nd, to receive legal documentation. April 7th, I came down for a site visit. April 16th, I received a letter for the bylaws of the Elgin County. April 22nd, site visit again. April 22nd, I was down, oh yeah, so I was down here then, and I think that's when I gave Robin some recommendations, how we could just make this thing a little bit easier to get in from a trucking, how we do it. April 28th, I was down here for the council. Since then, I was back here yesterday, just driving around, seeing what was going on, making sure everything was okay around here. Talked to a couple of the residents around downtown. They seem to, very friendly community. Everybody's always waving because I'm here so often, but a couple of them are saying that the pole has been hit 2 or 3 times. If not hit very close, they're hitting the hydro poles right at the end of the alleyway. Just something to address there. Something else on here. Oh, so my employer asked me to get a video of what it looks like for a truck to be backing into the actual alleyway. So I went out there and I was doing the video. The driver came over because nobody understands what my truck says because it has Canada Cartage and IRT and everything. And I just told him, I'm just here just to grab a video. You look like you know what you're doing, so this should be really quick. Just want to grab a video of him coming in. The owner of the market came out, dragged him away from me, which wasn't really a big deal. Then I forget where I was hovering around town. I was told by the people at the body shop, I don't know who they are, that this meeting might be canceled today. I misunderstood that. I guess it was just this meeting's happening, but the final verdict is somewhere else. So anyway, I decided to run down to, I forget what your building's called, basically to see Robin. As I'm driving here, I'm looking in my mirror going, I'm being followed. Like, this is silly. So anyway, the Rodney Market, which I don't know why I'm getting involved in all this stuff. I just want to know where I can put my trucks to keep everybody happy. So he followed me all the way down to Rodney Market. And I know he's following me because I had my turn signal on the wrong road. Then I went up. When I pulled into the Rodney, where Robin is, whatever that building is.
Yeah.
There you go. I was parking and I was talking to another colleague. I was giving them a hand. I'm looking in my mirror. I'm like, there's that van. And out there's the guy videoed me. And I'm like, okay, that's kind of strange. So I get out of my truck to go in to see Robin and he's videotaping me the whole way. I'm like, this is kind of childish and petty. But anyway, I figured I would share that information with you, just kind of the silliness that's going on. My drivers have been reporting that they can't get in where I have instructed them to go into. So until all this is done, as in the last meeting, I have instructed everybody to come in that front off the main road. Since then, as they're telling me, it's one or two cars. So it's either a black 150 there, maybe gray, or a black Ford Escalade, one of the big Ford pickup trucks. So I was kind of curious who owned that vehicle. I was actually going into the variety store across the street. There's a lady, I think her name's maybe Stephanie or Isabel or something. You guys might know her. Very old lady, smokes like a chimney. So her and I had a cigarette and I just asked her, I'm like, hey, you know who owns that? She says, oh yeah, the shipper receiver lady. I'm like, convenient. This was actually a little bit prior. They came over, Rodney Market came over and asked me why I was there. And I just told them I'm just doing what I do. I check out, you know, different locations and make sure everything's good. I asked them who that 150 was, the truck, and they said it was a customer. And I'm like, oh, that's kind of strange because I've been here for about 2 hours in your town now. And man, they shop for a very, very long time. I'm kind of guessing that they're blocking off every possible way to get into that place because when that truck's there, I can't get in with my trucks, which is causing a problem, especially when I instructed all my guys, until this is sorted out, I want everybody coming in off of the main road. So that's kind of going on. Curious, are you guys putting a stop sign at the end of the alley? Does anybody know that answer? Nobody? So I noticed the other alleys, they all got stop signs. So I kind of thought maybe you guys were gonna put a stop sign at the end of the alley, which would kind of change things on having a truck go down the alleyway, because if you put a stop sign on the right, we won't be able to get back out. Because we will probably hit your stop sign constantly. Like I said, I am here just to find out where we can go. You know, do you want me to go down the alleyway? I still have a lot of concerns about the alleyway of who will be liable. If I cause more damage to the ground with my heavy trailers. They put a line there. I'm not sure who did the line, but it's way out of whack. But for me to get in there, it's great. You think a trailer is going to go straight, but the truck is going to be weaving all over the place, back and forth to try to keep it straight with the line. And I'm kind of concerned that we might come close to the grates or cause other damage to the property. And I mean, it's your town, if that's where you guys want me to go, but who's gonna be liable for that? Because you're forcing me to go down there compared to coming in the front. Different places, I actually ran back to 2019, any problems I've ever had in this town, okay? They were minor. Tim, right? Tim, I guess we hit his fence back in 2022, in the alleyway. Everything else was not to do with anything. We've been delivering to the LCBO, backing in off of the main road. We've been delivering to the beer store, which we back in off of there. Sometimes we cut through the parking lot, then we back in. But we've been delivering off the main road of Rodney. I don't even know how many years. Depends how long the liquor store's been here. So I also work for Mel Hall Transportation, which until last year, we had all the liquor accounts down this way. That's why we go there. Unfortunately, another company has the LCBO now, but we've gone in there for years and we haven't had any issues going in there. Kind of got where I got. I mean, when this is all said and done, if we're going in off the main drag, I don't see any kind of possible liabilities. If you insist that we go in the alley, is there something that we could get that says we're not responsible for the grates or the ground or anything else, like with the trucks? I think I told you guys before, if we come in fully loaded, we're looking at about 114,000 pounds that's backing in there and playing on your streets. When we turn tight, we make a lot of marks. If it's not strong ground, we will tear it up. I don't know, that's pretty well all I got.
Okay, thank you very much for that.
Thank you. And hopefully we can get a answer. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so now we go to 6.2, John Kirby, Law Officer, Rodney Market. Pardon?
The delegation was canceled.
Oh,
They called and canceled.
that is
today.
cancelled.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so we go to Tim Blaine. If you wouldn't mind, Tim?
Mr. Mayor, council, and staff. Good afternoon. My name is Tim Blaine, 230 Stinson Street. I would like to begin with the term status quo, a phrase that translates to the existing state of affairs. I gotta put my glasses on. It is commonly used in political, social, and legal context to describe the current established way of doing things of the current set of circumstances, particularly when discussing whether to maintain them or change them. This was discussed in the first council meeting we attended. It was passed and we began to live with that decision until a solution was determined about the trucks and the use of the alley, I will refer to as from here on. Nothing was to change. But the market, I guess, did not hear that part. They began a series of measurements and lines on the pavement not owned by them or authorized to put them there. I expressed my concern about this to the township, as I guess it's a municipality's property, according to Mr. Kirby. As instructed by the township, documentation and photos were logged and the trucks rolled through as usual, status quo. Then one hot sunny Sunday, May 31st, 2026, the market owners decided to once again paint lines on the property not belonging to them in bright yellow. This, I guess, was their decision, an example of status quo. To where the trucks would stop and unload, once again, not authorized by the owner of the property. I also have pictures where they sit now, which I'll hand out, and you can pass around and have a look. I only made one copy this time, so you can pass these around. There is pictures I'll mention. So the pictures in that are of my back fence now where the trucks sit, about a foot and a half, 2 feet away, and also where they're parked up against the pole. So that brought up another interesting question as I was reading about the alley, was the point about encroachment on the alley. Trees, fences, whatever. And I noticed the line up the one side of the alley towards the corner of the grocery store lines up, and in Mr. Kirby's description, he had a map of the alley, and that shows the building encroachment 2.3 feet into the alley as an encroachment. This is why I ask, where are the property lines? How did the building get built that close to the lane that Mr. Kirby says has been there since 1875? There was an update, a survey, a proposal of survey, I think it's called, in 1972 or 4. But that's what I'm trying to get at, is the encroachment. Where are the property lines? If you took where the line is and took on Mr. Kirby's picture, like I said, he provided, maybe we should look at the encroachment on the alley at the rear of the building. We do not wish any ill will on the market, but it seems they are doing what they please, and no decision has been made by council as they instructed in the beginning. Problem is the truck traffic, not the market. Whose issue is this? Nobody seems to know. That's where we are. And to add this, I am displaying photos I took last night on the delivery door of the market. You'll see there where it says that they are, the township owns the alley, but it's a loading zone or an unloading zone. Maybe to their will, I have no idea, but that's the sign on the back of their door. I'm not going back in history anymore. I can't prove enough of what has happened over the years since the Fairless name was removed from the Rodney grocery store. Mr. Kirby seems to think there is no damage being caused to my property at the moment, maybe not, but he was not around in 2022 when my fence was punched out. I asked the market for some help, but that was not their problem. That was 2022. I'm lucky I had a video and got retribution from the carrier. Which brings me to another issue. The hydro pole on Mariah. It has been backed into minimum 6 times that we know of. It was reported to hydro many times. I went with the hydro the second last time it was hit. to make sure, and I questioned them and they said everything was fine, but it's still a pole hit. If that pole gets hit many more times or harder, it is going to come down. Many times, as it has been mentioned, the trucks do not fit in the alley. They are longer and more of them doing deliveries. Mr. Kirby may not agree with me, but my life has been in commercial vehicles, and I too have a commercial driver's license and understand the challenges of backing trucks into tight spots, and the market is asking drivers to navigate into a spot that's a challenge at best for a good driver. And a lot do have experience driving, but the market is making them challenge a narrow spot with many obstacles in the way. These are just the facts that I'm providing to council, and there should be no retribution towards anyone involved, as we are concerned for the safety of people and property in the area. We are looking for a solution in the present and the future of the market and surrounding neighborhood. Thank you all. Are there any questions?
Well, thanks you. Thanks for that anyway. We all know that a few years ago, there were box vans probably that were delivering there, and now they're huge
Yeah.
wagons.
They're huge. And like I
They've
said-
got larger, the alleyway hasn't.
Yes. And I went back in documents to 2017. And that's when there were other issues, and it wasn't the market, it was the previous owners of the Exact Auto and the grocery store. They just about became physical, fighting over the trucks blocking the alley and doorways. That was 2017. So this is not just a recent problem. It's been going on for that long. So I guess that's all I got to say about that.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Yes. Councillor Statham.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Through you, I think maybe this question is more for staff than for Mr. Kirby. Thank you for that very much. Are those markings still on the pavement in the alleyway?
Yes.
Okay, good. Are we looking at investigating having those removed? Or is that not?
Through you, Mr. Mayor, it's our understanding that the markings still remain. As we continue in this discussion on the best course forward, municipality has not removed them, but I believe that might be something we may need to address as we figure out what the solution looks like.
Thank you, Ron.
Yes, Deputy Mayor. Tell you.
Thank you through the chair. Thank you for your delegations. I know how hard it is to come and stand up there and speak. So I just noted that yesterday the beer store was delivering from Stinson down the alley. Does you know if that happens common, or is that just a one-off? Like between the edge of your property that used to have a house on it,
And backing in there?
and they were backing in there, it said beer store, like it was a big beer
Yes, it's
store.
the perfect spot.
Okay, I just noticed yesterday I was driving by and it's the beer store, that's the way they were delivering.
It's random right now as to where they come in, and they've proven that they can come in from every which way and drive through and past and park out of the way safely here, there, over there, out front. They've been everywhere parking. So it's up to whoever to figure it out as to which, but it's still too unsafe with the obstacles. Like I said, I've got my license. I've backed into tight spots with a trailer constantly. I know what it's like, and there's so many obstacles to try and navigate through there where everywhere else is open if the obstacles that are there can be moved. So
Okay, obstacles meaning the alleyway, not through Stinson on that road, that, whatever you call that. Obstacles meaning the alleyway, not through Stinson, that road there. Is that what you
beer
meant?
stores backed in there many times. Beer stores actually drove straight through, turned and gone out. There's-
Okay. Yeah, I realize that. All right, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Sousa.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, it's just a comment. I'm a little bit upset. It's absolutely unacceptable to go out there and paint lines on a road, overriding council authority. Like it's disheartening to see somebody do that. Like, you don't have a right to go out there and paint lines on a municipal owned property. Like, it's not helping your cause. Like, I find that very disturbing. Thank you.
Yep, fair comment. Any further questions? Okay. So we're gonna move on to adoption of the minutes.
Everybody.
Hmm?
We still have a report. I just said we still have a report to deal with this, so people may be staying.
Yes. Yeah, okay, so we'll go to adoption of the minutes.
That West Elgin Council hereby adopt the minutes of June 11th, 2026 as presented.
Move it, please. Deputy Mayor Tellier, seconded. Councillor Denning, all in favour? That's carried. Business arising from the minutes? Seeing none. We go to staff reports. Municipal drains.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'll speak to this one. This was a section 4 petition for drainage works by an owner submitted by Brian McGill on May 27th. The drainage superintendent has no issues with proceeding forward with this and appointing Spreets and Associates. If anybody has questions, I can certainly do my best to answer.
No? Seeing none?
The recommendation is that the Council of Municipality of West Elgin hereby receives Section 4 petition for drainage works by owners, Form 1, and that council approves the request for construction of a new tile drain received May 27th, 2026, submitted by Brian McGill, and that council directs staff to forward to Spreets and Associates to proceed with the necessary steps pursuant to the Drainage Act.
Move it, please. Councillor Denning, seconded. Councillor Sousa, all in favour? That's carried. Infrastructure and Development, Asset Management Plan, 2024-2026. And I think that's to Dave.
Thank you. Excuse me, thank you. I brought this asset management plan report to council to address the 2024 asset management plan that was completed earlier this year. And we wanted to make sure everybody knew what we have and to look for any acknowledgements and recommendations that we have in it. This plan fulfills the requirement from Ontario Regulation 588-17, and it provides a long-term framework for municipal infrastructure. This plan is a snapshot of what happened in 2024. So just to understand what's going on, as you read it, it's quite a involved document, and I just want to make sure that everybody understands. I'll give you the high level impacts of it right now. This plan is a provincial requirement intended to ensure municipalities understand the conditions of their infrastructure and the cost required to sustain it. In this portfolio, West Elgin manages approximately $174 million of infrastructure assets. This represents $78,000 per household, which is a substantial amount. The plan includes both core assets such as roads, bridges, water, sewer, and non-core assets, including buildings, vehicles, equipment, and land improvements. The key findings from this report is that there's 57% of municipal assets are in poor or very poor condition. And then one interesting point that I like to point out that only 10% of the assets that we have formal condition ratings that highlighting the need for improved asset data. We're really looking into this as we move towards our 2025 asset management plan. I know we're still a year behind, but we're trying to catch up. Then we want to include those asset condition assessments in those plans as we develop them, so that we can a more truer cost. But this is a really good snapshot to see, okay, what do we need to look for as we do these assessments. The major assets that we have are in the water network. We have $45.4 million. We have machinery and equipment for about $29 million. A road network of $28.6 million. We have about $20 million in buildings and $18 million in sanitary sewers. Bridges and culverts are in generally good condition, but we still need to keep updating the ratings through our OSIM reports. Our funding gap is our funding requirement is about $4.9 million annually. And our current funding sources provide about $2.5 million annually, according to the snapshot in 2024 that we were looking at to get these numbers. This creates a funding gap of $2.4 million. The long-term financial strategy that was recommended by our consultant was a 15-year approach to address the funding gap. This would have annual average increases of about 2.5% for tax-supported infrastructure, 1.1% for water rates, and a 1.7% increase for sanitary rates. These increases are intended to gradually improve the infrastructure stability while balancing affordability. Just to give you a quick background, one of our projects that we're working with in Aqua this year for our sanitary sewers over the next 3 years is to do a detailed level assessment of what we have in our systems to determine our upcoming needs and the problems that are going to be occurring in the next 10 years, so we can forecast that budget appropriately and move forward and kind of fill that 10% assessment gap to a better rate where we can make better budgeting decisions as we have with these with our infrastructure. One of the indications in the plan that also mentions is climate change considerations. There's a lot of additional climate change considerations. I look at it as what happened in June 14th with the heavy rains in West Lauren and Rodney. These are the types of things that generally didn't happen in the past, where high rain events occurred and really overwhelmed the systems that we had. So that's one of the things that related to that climate change that hits home to us really hard. This plan provides council with a roadmap for making informed decisions, and we're really looking forward to keep this updated as we go on when we make our 2025 plan, and the next formal plan that we have to roll out after that is the 2030 plan, which I plan on having on 2030 instead of 2 years behind. So does anybody has any questions about the report? I have it up. I can go pull some numbers and go up with you guys, but if you guys can just let me know and I can help you out.
Questions, please. Councillor Sousa.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, where does sidewalks fall under it? Does sidewalks fall under any of these?
Yes, there is a sidewalk fund there that is part of our infrastructure. It's more of a road aspect. We really don't have a lot of sidewalks compared to other municipalities, so it is a lower number, but we're really looking at all of our assets, and that's part of our ratings that we're missing as well. It's like that 10% rating is come from regulated rating, not ratings from what we're doing internally, and that's what we're looking to be able to improve.
I understand we have like pretty old infrastructure, and some of our sidewalks are just worried about the safety. Some of them need some work. They're on an angle. I received several complaints from constituents that they're concerned that sidewalks not safe. It's hard to walk on, seniors especially.
For sidewalks, we follow the standard. So we have to inspect our sidewalks every 16 months. In that 16-month period, we look for it's part of the minimum maintenance standard, when we spoke about earlier this winter with snow removal. There's a threshold of, I think it's an inch and a half or half an inch. I can't remember off the top of my head. But if there is a larger gap as a trip hazard for that, we're looking for those all the time, so that if we need to go out and fix it, we can grind that sidewalk off. Or if we have enough problems within the whole stretch, I'm looking to do a whole stretch improvement as we go. But we're in the process of still assessing what we have and what we really need to be working at to be able to move forward with making good decisions, so.
Thank you, Dave.
Deputy Mayor, Telly, please.
Thank you, and through the mayor, thank you so much for putting this report together, even though, yeah, we're getting up there. But that's okay, thank you, I appreciate it. It's nice to see this overview and exactly. In regards to Councillor Souza's question of the sidewalks, I do hear things about sidewalks as well. But then I note that I would say, I'm gonna guess 85% of sidewalks are on county roads, maybe?
I would say, just from off the top of my head, I would probably say, like, we have our major sidewalks on county roads.
Yes.
And
So-
we do have a lot of sidewalks on side streets that are probably in
Getting-
need because they're getting long in the tooth. And like, as we do our assessments, I want to start looking at what's the right timing to do those and
Mhm.
doing them in batch quantities to be able to get a better pricing as we roll them out. So,
Mhm,
and
mhm.
identify all that. So, and that's part of the gap that I feel that we have right now is with the assessment section of our infrastructure.
Okay, that's great. Thanks so much for your time with this and getting us somewhere caught up.
Thank you. Councillor Statham, please.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor, and through you, Dave, thanks for taking the time to put this all together. It's great. I took the time to read through this document and all I had to do was read it. And it took forever, so to produce it, kudos to you. I did have a few questions, if you don't mind. So I noticed that, and you'd mentioned 57% of our assets are in poor, very poor condition. Obviously, that's concerning. Given all of the ongoing discussions we've had regarding alternative service delivery models and governance models, for example, for water services, I think it's really important for us to have confidence that the underlying condition data is accurate and based on actual asset condition versus age-based modeling, which I think is what you said, to your point on improving the assessments going forward. When I reviewed this document, I noticed there was a few things that I was hoping that you could clear up, and then maybe some follow-up questions. But so when we're looking at valves, curb stop lines, that's listed as something that's in very poor condition. And when I was looking further along to the sanitary sewers, manholes in very poor condition. So I was looking at some of the diagrams that you had posted here, and you have a weighted average age listed at 125 years in the report. And I just wondered, is that, like, what methodology was used to get to that age profile for some of those things, specifically with respect to the water system? Because, are we bunching asset classes together and using the same installation year? Because I guess what I'm getting at is if you have a weighted average age of 125 years, and then we're using that to base the condition, if we're using that as a metric to assess the condition, and we're using 125 years, I can guarantee that curb stop lines and water valves are not installed in 1900, right? So that was sort of the first question. I wondered how we got to that 125-year weighted average, and how much does that affect the condition of the assets, specifically with respect to water and wastewater?
Great question. So I'm just gonna pull, can you give me the reference numbers at 6.4 that it's on?
So it's figure 33 and figure 34, figure 33 and figure 39, page 51 of the report, I believe.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Maybe Terry, are you able to put that up? Page 51 of the report, figure 33 and figure 39. Yeah. Go ahead, Dave, sorry.
Yep, great. So you have to bear with me for a minute because going through this whole report is kind of a beast. So the asset age profile that we used we provided the information, we used Citywide to help us put together this report. And when we have them there putting this together, we provided the age of the systems. So I believe what we're looking at here is more of the number of years that it's expected to last, not the how long it's been in the ground. Because that, I agree with you, the 125 years is not accurate with the
Yeah, so well,
Yeah.
there's two bars in the graph. One is weighted average age, and that is 125 years. And then the other bar is weighted average expected useful life, EUL. So we have an expected, for example, just as an example, for curb stop lines, we have an expected expected useful life of 75 years, and the weighted average age for the curb stop lines and water valves is listed at 125 years. And I guess the reason I asked the question is if we're using this asset management plan and we're looking at the overall statistics, which are saying that, you know, some of these assets are in poor, very poor condition, I feel like having a weighted average age for those asset profiles or for those asset classes, if it's listing it at 125 years, which is not the case, it's going to skew what assets are in poor or very poor condition.
I'm gonna have to get back to you.
That's fine.
on
Yeah, that's
that.
great.
It's to get some more information. I'm sure there's a reasoning that makes sense behind it, but until then.
If I may, Mr. Chair, Councillor Statham, is your concern that what they have set is the 125 is too high or too low?
So what I'm saying is if the weighted average age of the curb stop lines and water valves is listed at 125 years, which is what this graphic
shows.
demonstrates, that is quite excessive. The curb stop line, I mean, we have homes in West Lorne and in Rodney that are 10 years old, 15 years old. And one of the statements in here was that, and I can't find it. I didn't. Right here. As illustrated in figure 32, based on condition assessments and age-based conditions, all of the municipality's water mains are in fair or better condition. However, 100% of curb stop lines and water valves are in poor or worse condition. Now, if we have not actually conducted field inspections and we're basing this on an age profile, which is 125 years as a weighted average age, then how could 100% of our curb stop lines and water valves be in poor or worse condition, given that we have not actually inspected them?
And so Dave, if I may, we know that this asset management plan is based on age. It's not based on condition. And so that comes with a big asterisk to council that we may have some assets that may be in better condition regardless of their age, but we also have the risk of assets that will be in poorer condition given the type of material used, the demands upon those assets, and any sort of environmental influences. So this is right now a snapshot based only on age. What we do know that needs to happen is a further assessment of our assets based on actual condition, of which may see these adjustments occur. And as we have said, there are some assets that actually may be relatively young, but are in poor condition, given material used, given the use, given the environment, many other factors. There also could be assets that are of age, but because of the type of materials used at that time, may not be in poor. So this is really just a snapshot based on age at this moment. And then using standards of which they use across the province. Asset management is a requirement, and for citywide or other companies, they are using those comparators that they would have used based on all communities.
Yeah, there is a mixture of metals there, you understand that?
No,
Well, there's cast and there's brass.
No,
copper,
and
PVC, you know, and they don't all last the same length of time, that's the problem.
No, I get that. I completely understand. I understand that. I guess my point was more that if we're using exclusively age, and we're saying that everything is 125 years old, then we're not getting accurate depiction of what the asset is. And then that was one of the follow-ups I had was, you know, if we were to go and conduct field inspections tomorrow, what percentage of these assets that are in the poor and very poor categories, what percentage of those might reasonably move into a different condition category? And, you know, furthermore, what confidence should, you know, council as a whole place in these condition ratings? If we don't, and Dave, you said it, you said we need to go out and if only 10% of these assets have actually been assessed, then, you know, absolutely, we need to go out and look at them, because if we're weighting you know, if we're determining what the condition is very poor, and, you know, 100% of curb stop lines are in very poor condition, I mean, that doesn't sound good at all. But if that's not actually the case, that's the reason I bring it up. I just want to make sure that we're looking at, you know, valid assessment of.
If I
the
might,
condition.
Mr. Mayor, Councillor Statham, many small municipalities across the province use age as their assessment rating. And the reality is, due to the number of staff, the budget, the resources that they have in order to attend to an actual assessment of assets. So the requirement of to have an asset plan, age is just a predictor of which we use.
Sure.
The average rating that they're using is a number that they use based on sort of their professional basis across not just our municipality, but several municipalities.
It's a lot easier than going out and looking at every manhole.
And then that is the truth, because there is a cost to time and money and resources in order to do that work. So we are not the only municipality that would be struggling right now with having maybe a truer look at what our assets are. And again, I would say council put a big asterisk beside what our funding gap is, because there are probably assets right now that are in both camps that are rated poor but maybe better. But we probably have a lot of assets that are also in the fair condition right now that actually need replacement or refurbishment faster than we would predict if we only used age as a model.
Sure.
And this is the snapshot we're using, because for a small municipality, it is the most cost-effective method of which to use.
And that's perfect. I think my only suggestion there would be, instead of 125 years, you know, maybe we could look at when roads were installed, or, you know, or when communities were put in, when houses were built. Maybe that'd be a little bit more effective than just bunching all of curb stop lines, water valves, and manholes into 125-year weighted average age, because that obviously is going to skew the results. And then further on in the report, when it's asking for increases to taxes and making suggestions on what the impact on the levy would be, that information should be accurate. So
if I may, Mr. Mayor, again, it's using what we can in a cost-effective measure to give us a picture of what we need today. It certainly council wants us to be investigating to a little bit more into the granular costs are associated with that. And then council should be directing us and making sure we have the resources in order to provide you that this is the assessment we have today, so we can assess a gap based on something that is cost-effective for the size of this municipality.
thank you, Robin.
Further questions? Yes, Councillor Denning, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you, fellow council, for all the good questions. Dave, thank you to you and your team for putting this all together. All of the assessment work that is required for the to manage the feasibility of the infrastructure, is your team capable of doing all that work, or does some of it have to be consulted out?
The longer it takes, our team can do bits and pieces of it. But like, for example, I mentioned with the sanitary part, we are using Aqua to be able to go in there, because they're responsible for the maintenance of our manholes, and to get proper data on what we have, instead of guessing. That it's a perfect vessel to use to get them to check the manholes, flush them, clean them, camera them, take a look. So that'll get us up to date in West Lorne and Rodney in probably 2 to 3 years, if we keep with that schedule. And then from there, we can start building out an asset management plan for those kind of assets. For our other assets, such as roads, our guys are out there doing the work. They're very capable of doing it. It's just the time that involves to actually be able to take in account all of our road network instead of doing other tasks that they're responsible for. So as we build out that, we can fill their time with that, but then that will also take additional time. to be able to do it in that method. We could look at different consulting avenues to be able to get the work done at a quicker pace, but that's also tied to budgeting for that, so.
Thank you.
Okay, further questions? Seeing none this time. We go to the recommendation, please.
The recommendation is that West Elgin Council hereby receive the asset management report from D. Sharon, Manager of Infrastructure and Development, and that council receives and acknowledges the findings and recommendations contained within the municipality of West Elgin Asset Management Plan for 2024, and that council directs staff to incorporate the asset management plan into annual budget development, long-term financial planning, and infrastructure investment decisions.
Mover, please. Deputy Mayor Tellier, seconded. Councillor Denning, all in favour? That's carried. Yes.
Thank you through the mayor. I'm wondering at this time, since we have people interested and are sitting here, in regards to the report from our CAO, that's 9.5.1. If I make a motion that we go ahead with, I'm not sure if that's appropriate or not.
So I have Deputy Mayor Tellier that has made a motion to move, let me just get the item number here. Item number 9.5.1 ahead, so that we can discuss that at this time. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Denning, all in favor?
Okay, so we'll move to 9.5. Chief Administration Officer. Would you like to report, please? Yeah,
Pull the report
sure.
up, though I know that the report is for information. I will try that again. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'm just pulling the report up.
No, that's okay.
Council, the report that is before you is dealing with the permitted use of the alleyway in the commercial center of Rodney. Council will notice that this was for information purposes without recommendation put forward. And the reason for such a report is as of even today, but the time of this report would have been Friday, June 19th. We were still receiving information from the various parties to address their concerns. And so we have asked to sort of delay a final sort of direction onto how to address the market. It is my understanding, Council, that conversations between solicitors for the municipality, for the Rodney market, and for Ms. Geddes and Mr. Morrissey were also being conducted today. And I'm just going to pull this email up, if I may, because I received this from our solicitor today, that those conversations were starting to move towards a resolution. And that all parties were requesting that we delay any type of report until to be finalized until our August meeting, be it that some parties cannot attend the July meeting. So in that time, though, we will be working with both parties to come to a resolution. Because all parties are active in the conversation and in the direction, it is our solicitor's recommendation at this moment in time for council to further understand why there will be delays in final reporting. That report may appear before council as of July. However, they are asking council for your patience to make any final motions until the August meeting. And that's what I had to
Okay.
report. If there are any questions, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Questions? Yes. Deputy Mayor Tellier, please.
Through the chair, August is a long way away.
I-
I don't have to state the obvious, but that's a long time for people to wait and wonder and.
If I might, Mr. Mayor, this
Yes.
was at recommendation of both parties in the conversations that their solicitors had today.
Okay, thank you.
Further questions? Seeing none.
Recommendation is that West Elgin Council receives the report from R. Greenall, CAO, titled Permitted Use of an Alleyway in the Commercial Center of Rodney for Information Purposes.
Mover, please. Deputy Mayor Tellier, seconded. Councillor Denning, all in favour? That's carried. Thank you very much. So I'm going to revert back to 9.2.2. Line painting contract 2026. Over to you.
Thank you. It's that time of year again, we're gonna do some line painting in the municipality and through, and mostly on the county roads and our other systems. We put a tender out, earlier this month. We received 4 bids. The lowest bid was, Rand Maintenance, at $51,035. Compared to last year's bid that we had, there was a decrease in the amount of line painting done, so it is a lower price, but the rate went up by about just over 1 cent per meter. The difference between the years, the reason that why there's a difference between the amount of paint going down last year and this year is due to Talbot Road getting paved. The county will be painting that along with their contract. If anybody has any questions?
Questions, anyone? Seeing none. We have the recommendation, please.
The recommendation is that West Elgin Council receive the 2026 line painting report from D. Sharon, Manager of Infrastructure and Development, and that West Elgin Council hereby approve the tender amount of $51,035 plus applicable taxes from Rand Maintenance of Guelph, Ontario for line painting services.
Move it, please. Councillor Sousa, seconded. Councillor Statham, all in favour? That's carried. So then we move on to 9.2.3. Parking bylaw.
Thank you. I bring this report to council due to the installation of some no parking signs by the Rodney Pool. We've had some complaints about people parking on the sidewalk along that street. So we wanted to address that before the pool season started by putting up some no parking signs from the intersection at Rideout towards the pool itself. I think that's pretty much it for this one. So if anybody has any questions, please let me know.
Yeah, Deputy Mayor Tellier, please.
Thank you, through the mayor. Just wondering, how will that affect the business at the Rodney Dentist?
Thank you for asking. I called the dentist office and spoke with them today and let them know that we are going to be rolling this out, mainly because that the cars are parking on the sidewalk and it's a concern. If they need to park, and then they're going to reach out to me for future parking needs to see how that's going to be affected, to see who can help them out. I know, I told them that if anybody needs to park, if they need additional overflow parking, that the parking lot at the fairgrounds is available. They can access that as well. But until then, that was our concern. The road gets really narrow when cars do even park not on the sidewalk. So we wanted to make sure that we don't have any incidents there.
So they're still gonna be able to park in front, but not on the sidewalk, obviously? I'm just thinking about seniors and trying to get to their appointment.
Yeah, they'll be allowed to park on Rideout Street.
Okay.
Just not on the, this is just basically
Just no sidewalk, okay.
on the alleyway going to the pool from Rideout, not on Rideout Street.
Okay, perfect, thank you.
Further questions? Seeing none, could I have a recommendation, please?
The recommendation is that West Elgin Council hereby receives the parking bylaw report from D. Sharon, Manager of Infrastructure and Development, and that bylaw 2001-50, being a bylaw to regulate parking and traffic in the municipality of West Elgin, be amended to establish a restricted parking zone as follows. The laneway at 135 Queen Street in Rodney from Rideout Street to the projection of the northerly property line of 261 Rideout Street.
Thank you. Move it, please. Deputy Mayor Tellier, seconded. Councillor Sousa, all in favour? That's carried. With that, we're going to take a 5-minute break. We're restarting the meeting again. And the next is 9.2.4, water meter reading support provider. And I think, Dave, that's
Thank you.
over to you
Yep.
again.
This is a follow-up from our committee of the whole meeting that we had 2 weeks ago, going over the water meter supplier and reading material that we're going to use. Basically, I've laid out the same information that we had in our committee of the whole meeting, in the report. If anybody has any questions, please feel free to ask. But we're looking to save some money long-term with this solution, so. Thank you.
Okay, questions?
Thank you. Through you, Mr. Mayor. Dave, I just have a quick question. This water meter cost, does that include any of the trailer park? Is our trailer park getting a meter replacement installed? Just refreshing my memory. I probably forgot.
No problem. So our trailer park has meters for the entire trailer park. So we have 2 or 3 meters at the entire trailer park. So these meters are generally for individual residents. The trailer park costs that we would have if we metered every resident, then that would, or not every camper, that would be that's a different operation altogether. The trailer park is one contained unit. And that's how that's rolling out, so.
Thank you, Dave.
Yep.
Further questions? Seeing none.
Recommendation is that West Elgin Council hereby receives the report from D. Sharon, Manager of Infrastructure and Development, titled Water Service Meter Ready Software and Meters, and that West Elgin Council hereby directs staff to implement the use of Evan Utility and Municipal Products Supply Limited, Neptune 360, for meter reading software and to supply meters and equipment.
Move it, please. Councillor Statham, seconded. Councillor Sousa. All in favour? That's carried. 9.3, Community Services and Clerks. Community Grants, Outstanding Approvals.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This report is being brought back to council today to finalize the remainder of the community grants for the year. So since the municipal budget has been passed and $30,000 was allocated to the community grants, up until May 31st, all the grants were approved for in kind and cash in a total of $13,074. So that leaves us with $16,926 still available. So as you'll see in my report, I did show some allocations, playing around with the numbers a little bit. Majority of them are reduced slightly as we have had an increase in not only the amount of applications, but the dollar amount as well that community grants are asking for. So I will open this up to council if you would like to see different numbers shown, or if council is okay with the numbers that I have added on there. But I will open up to council for any questions or comments.
Questions from council? Deputy Mayor Tellier, please.
Thank you for this, Terry, and through the chair. We used to find out what it was for. So for example, lawn bowling, is it towards new tractor? Is it towards upkeep?
For the lawn maintenance, yeah.
For lawn maintenance?
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I thought, but I just
Yeah.
wanted to double check. Okay, thank you.
Yes. Councillor Denny.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, through the chair. Madam Clerk, you've found a way to create fairness and equity and balance in all of this, and I like what you've proposed, so certainly prepared to support it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Further questions? No, you evened it out really quite nice, to be honest with you.
I'm not good with numbers, but I was able.
It worked out.
That's our wonderful treasurers.
Yeah, we have a little treasure over there.
We do,
Yeah.
yeah.
Could I have the recommendation,
Sure can.
please?
The recommendation is that West Elgin Council hereby receives the report from Terry Toshchuk, Manager of Community Services, Clerk, regarding 2026 community grants, outstanding approvals, and that council approve the amended grant allocations totaling $16,926 as recommended within the report.
Could I have a mover, please? Councillor Statham, seconded. Councillor Denning. All in favour? That's carried. And we go to 9.3.2, route and revival, subsequent requests, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So this one is another follow-up. We're getting very close to the Roots and Revival Festival. So this is just summarizing kind of the final, we've sat down with the committee and what the operational side will look for or is looking towards. So a couple things, there is some pipes sticking up from the septic system. We were looking to cover those. There is a design concept that is in the report. We want to keep the design itself a secret until it is has its grand reveal, and then also provide some additional washroom cleaning on the Saturday morning from our summer students for the accessible washroom. Excuse me, and additional picnic tables and garbage receptacles for visitor accommodation. So of course, this is being brought to council as there's a little bit of additional costs, a little bit of staff time to go down and assist with all this. So any questions or concerns from any members of council?
Covering the pipes is a safety concern.
Correct.
So that's a must. Anyone else got any questions? No, could I have the recommendation then, please?
The recommendation is that West Elgin Council hereby receives the report from Terry Toshchuk, Manager of Community Services Clerk, regarding Roots and Revival request for council consideration, and that council hereby approves the following items. 1, operational assistance to cover and protect the white pipes protruding from the ground near the septic system. 2, approval of the design concept and installation of a mural, to be installed on the municipally owned washroom exterior at the Port Glasgow Marina. 3, additional accessible washroom cleaning. 4, additional picnic tables and garbage receptacles for visitor accommodation. And further, that council hereby declare this event to be a municipally significant event for the purpose of the Alcohol and Gaming Commission of Ontario, AGCO Special Occasion Permit, SOP. I was notified, though, that portion is no longer required for it, but it was included in the recommendation.
Okay. Move it, please. Councillor Statham, seconded. Deputy Mayor Tellier, all in favour? That's carried. Okay. So we go to 9.3.3, pool fees, costs and recovery.
Me again.
That's you, is it, please?
Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Mayor, through you to council. So this report is a follow-up from discussion held on May 14th at the Committee of the Whole, where council deferred the decision on pool fees until additional information regarding sponsorships and donations could be considered. With the Rodney Pool scheduled to open on June 29th, we are getting very close, so staff are seeking direction for the 2026 pool fees to ensure that pricing is established before the season begins. So the Rodney Pool remains an important community asset that provides recreation opportunities for residents and visitors throughout the summer. A comparison of surrounding municipalities was provided in the report both on May 14th and today's, which included that we are generally in line. However, the Aquafit pricing remains noticeably higher than comparable programs. So staff are recommending a reduction in Aquafit fees from $10 per class down to $7 per class, or $60 for a 10 class pass to improve the affordability and remain competitive with our neighboring municipalities. And then staff are recommending that youth and adult drop-in swim fees remain at $5 and family swims remain at $10, as these rates are within the range from the comparable municipalities. So the projected net levy requirement is approximately $123,500 despite increased program and grant support. We have received a little bit of grant funding. We've received notification from others that they would like to sponsor or provide donations. We just haven't received them yet. So we were not including that in our totals for the purpose. So in closing, staff do believe that the recommended Aquafit fee reduction strikes an appropriate balance between affordability and cost recovery while maintaining current swim admission fees and ensuring that future donations directly benefit all taxpayers by reducing the pool's net operating cost. Certainly, I will open this up to council now for any comments or further considerations.
Questions, please. Deputy Mayor Tellier.
Thank you, Mayor, through the mayor. I just really appreciate this report and working through the numbers and putting those donations where they need to be. We've sat here for many years debating what to do with the pool costs, had delegations come with their concerns over the years. And I think this is the best we can do and a great job done. by staff to get us where we need to be for this year. So I really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Yeah, Councillor Denny, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, through the chair. Thanks for the report, Terry. So in the event that those other donations do in fact come in, then at that point, there can be an adjustment?
Correct. It'll go towards the net levy to bring that down.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Further questions? Seeing none. Thank you.
The recommendation is that West Elgin Council hereby receives the pool pricing and cost recovery report from Terry Tostyuk, Manager of Community Services Clerk, and that council hereby approve a rate reduction to Aquafit for a total fee of $7 per class or $60 per 10 class pass. And that council hereby approve the rates for the following: drop-in youth and adult, $5 per swim, and family drop-in, $10 per swim. And further, that council directs staff to allocate any further donations to the general net revenue of the Rodney Pool, resulting in a lower net expense and less impact on the general tax base.
Move it, please. Councillor Denning, seconded. Deputy Mayor Tellier, all in favour? That's carried. Then we go to 9.4, Corporate Services and Finance. 2025 Annual Treasurer's Statement. Please, Emma.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. As required under Section 43 of the Development Charges Act, I'm presenting the annual treasurer statement report for 2025, which is triggered as the Development Charges Bylaw 2024-85 was passed in December 2024 with rates in effect as of January 1st, 2025. Although the municipality currently has a development charges bylaw in place to enable the collection of development charges to fund growth-related capital infrastructure, in 2025, there were no development charges to collect to report on pursuant to the bylaw. Accordingly, no development charge reserve funds had been established or utilized as well for me to report on. In addition, pursuant to Section 33 of the Development Charges Act, a municipality that has passed a development charge bylaw shall establish a separate reserve fund for each service to which the development charge relates. Therefore, I'm recommending that council pass a specific resolution for the purpose of establishing separate obligatory reserve funds for the funding of growth-related capital costs for which development charges are imposed. These recommended reserve funds to be established are development charges related to services related to a highway, fire protection services, parks and recreation services, and growth studies. So these would be separate reserve funds, and these categories are in line with the development charges background study obtained in September of 2024, as referenced in our bylaw. And then just some more information. So since no development charges were imposed or collected during 2025, there were also no capital costs funded by the reserve fund to report on. According to our development charges background study, the municipality plans to spend $15 million over the 10-year life cycle of the development charges bylaw, of which $8 million, which approximately 53%, is recoverable from development charges. Of the capital projects listed in the development charges background study, two commenced near the end of 2025. Minor costs were incurred for Finney Street extension and arena renovation projects, and these minor costs were funded through other reserves and not recoverable through development charges since there were none in 2025.
Thank you. Any questions? Seeing none. Could I have the recommendation, please?
The recommendation is that West Elgin Council hereby receives the report from Ian Nelson, Manager of Corporate Services, Treasurer, titled 2025 Annual Treasurer's Statement Report, dated June 25th, 2026, be received, and that 4 obligatory reserve funds be created related to development charges imposed for the purpose of services related to a highway, fire protection services, parks and recreation services, and growth studies. and that the report be made available to the public on the Municipality of West Elgin's website. And further, that the treasurer be directed to provide the 2025 annual treasurer's statement report to the Minister of Municipal Affairs and Housing by July 15th, 2026.
Move it, please. Councillor Denning, seconded. Councillor Statham. All in favour? That's carried. So that moves us on to 10, which is board or committee of council reports or updates. Yes, Councillor Denning.
Through the chair, I'm going to suggest that I delegate this to our deputy mayor to speak to candidate, although I can, but I think you're far more versed in it than I am.
Yeah, thank you for that through the mayor, and thank you for that, Councillor Denning. So we're ready for Canada Day. Can't even tell you how many hours we put into it, but it's been great. Great committee to work with. Once again this year, so we have petting zoo again, bouncy castle, bubble soccer. It might rain, so that should be interesting. Face painting. Yeah, we have a young gal from lives in West Lauren, goes to St. Joe's. It's going to start us off with O Canada, and the firemen are going to be there, or fire people are going to be there, and lots going on. I'm missing things, I'm sure of it. Oh, line dancers. We're doing a demo, and Zumba. I will not be partaking in either. It's going to be hot. But we will watch them, and they're very good, very interesting. So other people can partake if they like. But yeah, lots of great stuff going on. That's from 3 until dusk, and then our fireworks, which Greg Byers is on the West Elgin Fire Department has organized our fireworks for us. So thank you to Greg once again this year for helping with that. And then the firefighters set them off. So it'll be a great day. We also need to remind people that we have our Aqua Open House 10 to 2 in Eagle. We also, is it 11 in the, well, 1. What time are we seeing our new fire truck?
That's supposed to be in the morning, isn't it?
Mhm.
I haven't had a final time given to him.
We will make sure that that is presented out. I do believe though it was afternoon.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had the time down, but I don't remember right now.
So there'll be a presentation. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. There will be a presentation at the water services in the morning.
Yes.
And then I believe it was around noon, 1 o'clock. Then there will be an official presentation of our new fire tanker.
Yep. And then we have our open swim in the afternoon and programming all day and free swim there at the pool. And there's a lot going on. So lots of great things in West Elgin on our nation's birthday.
Good, thank you for that. Notice of motion. None received. Council inquiries and announcements. Correspondence. Yes.
Can I go back through the chair to council inquiries? I'm wondering for our volunteer presentations that we have in the fall, if we could add maybe another category or something, or just kick around the idea, just something to think about. I'm not putting an official motion, I guess, at this time unless someone's interested, but I'm thinking of, we have EMS, nurses, doctors, people in the fire background that maybe we could present them as volunteers or outstanding people in our community that play in one of those frontline roles.
Mhm.
I know they're being paid for a position and a job, but they're also citizens of West Elgin, and maybe we could recognize them.
Okay, thank you for that. We got a note of that, just to look at? Thank you. Okay, so where were we? Correspondence?
Were there any items under correspondence that any members of council would like to pull for discussion? Okay. Seeing none, the recommendation is that West Elgin Council hereby receive and file all correspondence not otherwise dealt with.
Move it, please. Deputy Mayor Tellier, seconded. Councillor Sousa. All in favour? That's carried. Thank you. Okay, so we go to 14.1. Councillor Sousa's. Staff to investigate the implement vacancy property bylaws.
Did you want me to read the recommendation first or you? Yeah. The recommendation is whereas long-term vacant residential and commercial properties contribute to economic decline, reduce investment, create safety concerns, negatively impact neighboring property values, and diminish the overall appearance of the community. And whereas occupied and well-maintained homes and businesses contribute to vibrant downtowns, stronger neighborhoods, increased economic activity, and improved quality of life for residents. And whereas prolonged commercial vacancies can result in underutilized buildings remaining empty for years without meaningful progress towards redevelopment, occupancy, and productive use. Therefore, be it resolved that council directs staff to investigate and report back on the implementation of vacancy-related bylaws and policies for residential and commercial properties within the municipality of West Elgin, including a vacant property registry, property maintenance standards specific to vacant buildings, fees, penalties, or taxation tools permitted under provincial legislation to discourage long-term vacancies, requirements for property owners to demonstrate plans for occupancy, redevelopment, or active marketing of vacant commercial properties, and enforcement mechanisms to best practices utilized by other Ontario municipalities. And further, that staff be directed to bring forward recommendations, including any necessary bylaws, policies, implementation costs, and legal considerations with the objective of reducing long-term vacancies, encouraging investment, supporting local businesses, improving community appearance, and maintaining vibrant residential and commercial areas throughout West Elgin. And further, that council recognizes this active, occupied, and well-maintained properties are essential to sustaining a thriving and prosperous community for current and future residents.
Questions? Yeah.
Through the chair, just a comment. Madam Clerk, thank you for reading that. Council, I feel we have an issue in our community with vacant properties that sit empty for many years with little or no progress. In fact, some residential properties are currently boarded up today, left unmaintained for many years, leaving an unpleasant look amongst its neighbors. I have received several complaints regarding grass not being cut, rodents, a house that looks like it's about to collapse. This is wasted space that could be put to better use. Also, there has been examples of commercial zoned storefronts in our community that remain empty without being made available to the public for lease or rent for many years with little or no work being done. From my understanding, many Ontario municipalities are pushing for provincial legislation to allow vacant commercial storefront tax levies. The goal is to discourage long-term commercial vacancies that hurt municipalities like ours. Vibrant streets are vital to the economic, social, and well-being of our community. I believe long-term vacant properties, both residential and commercial, drags down our community's character, reduce foot traffic, and deter investment. I would like staff to investigate new tools or methods that can be used to help address these issues. Thank you.
Thank you. I believe London followed this same line of thought. Any questions? Yes, Councillor Denny.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and through the chair and Councillor Seuss, thank you for bringing forward this this important topic for subject for topic. A couple of years ago, we attempted to explore the possibility of this, and the treasurer at the time mentioned to us that the cost associated with creating such a program would be significant enough that there would be an impact on the taxpayer. So happy to have this conversation, happy to discuss directing staff to begin looking at it. There will be a cost associated with that right out of the gate. But if we were to have staff bring back to us a report that made a lot of sense for us to move forward with this initiative. I just want to make sure that we all recognize that there is going to be a cost associated with that, and that's either going to be reflected in an increase in taxes or a reduction in services somewhere else. So I guess we just need to decide. This is a problem. It's a problem in many different communities and municipalities. Is this something that we are prepared to make an investment to address? And if so, how does everybody feel about that?
Further questions? Yes. Councillor Sousa.
To the chair, just to point to Bill's, just response to Bill, comment there. I feel it's very important. I mean, I have complaints from neighbors and then they're complaining about a house that's just all boarded up and nothing's being done. The house is boarded up for 7 years. The entire neighborhood is asking, why is this not being addressed? And then the grass is up to my knees, and then we call the bylaw officer, and I spoke to the bylaw officer. He said, well, this is great. If you spoke to him about this motion, and he said, if you it gives me more tools to address the issue, because repeat offenders, and they just keep doing it over and over again. You have developers from outside of the municipality buying properties here and no plan. They just let it sit there for 7 years. It's not a good look on our community. And it needs to be addressed, right? Like, I wouldn't want to move next to that house. Like, I'm not going to name any names, but it's just it's terrible. Thank you.
Okay, point taken. Further questions? Whatever recommendation.
Recommendation was already.
There's
Yep.
not one, is there really?
Well, no,
Okay.
the motion was already read. And
So I still need a mover and a second.
Councillor Sousa moved,
So,
so I
yeah.
need a seconder.
And a seconder? Councillor Denny. All in favour? That's carried.
Thank you.
Upcoming meetings.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This is just to go over the meeting schedule set for July and August. So the 8th of July, we have Arena Board at 9 a.m., 15th Recreation Committee at 7 p.m., and the 16th Regular Council at 4 p.m. August, we had on the 12th, we have Arena Board at 9 a.m., and the 13th Regular Council at 4 p.m.
Thank you. So we go to 16, which is bylaws, 16.1. Bylaw 2026-42. Parking bylaw amendments.
That bylaw 2026-42, being a bylaw to amend bylaw number 2001-50, being a bylaw to regulate parking and traffic in conjunction with County of Elgin parking bylaw number EG1, be read a first, second, third, and final time.
Mover, please. Councillor Sousa, seconded. Councillor Statham, all in favour? That's carried. 16.2. Bylaw 2026-43, water and wastewater rates.
That bylaw 2026-43, being a bylaw to establish rates for municipal water and wastewater services for 2026 and to repeal bylaw 2025-38, be read a first, second, third, and final time.
Mover, please. Councillor Statham, seconded. Councillor Denning, all in favour? That's carried. 16.3. Bylaw 2026-40, zoning amendment. 191 Furnival Road.
That bylaw 2026-40, being a bylaw to amend the municipality of West Elgin comprehensive zoning bylaw number 2015-36 for 191 Furnival Road, be read a first, second, third, and final time.
Mover, please. Deputy Mayor Tellier, seconded. Councillor Sousa, all in favour? That's carried. That takes us to the confirming bylaw.
That bylaw 2026-44, being a bylaw to confirm the proceedings of the regular meeting of council held on June 25th, 2026, be read a first, second, third, and final time.
Mover, please. Councillor Denning, seconded. Councillor Statham, all in favour? That's carried. And takes us to 18, which is adjournment.
That the Council of the Municipality of West Elgin hereby adjourn at 5:48 PM to meet again at 4 o'clock PM on July 16th, 2026, or at the call of the chair.
Move it, please. Councillor Statham? Sorry, Councillor Sousa? Seconded. Deputy Mayor Tellier. Let's switch it round a little bit. All in favour? That's carried.